Hello, my name's Bob Moore and I'm chairman of the National Honey Show. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our plans for the 2020 show, which is going to be the 89th in our 97-year history. Clearly with COVID-19 we can't take the risk of running a conventional show, but we're not going to be defeated. We're going to offer you a professional online conference instead. It's going to have international speakers. We have speakers lined up from the United States, from Canada and from Europe. There will be demonstrations, there'll be an interactive trade show. Our traders will be bringing their usual show deals and you'll be able to interact with them. And there'll be social events in the evening as well. Now we've taken the decision that this year's show is going to be entirely free. That's quite a risk for us because although we have fantastic sponsors, the money they give us will be nowhere near enough to pay for an online conference. So I make no apology that through the show we will be asking you for donations, and I do hope you'll support us because whether or not it's a success really depends on your generosity. The show will be running from the 22nd to the 24th of October. Registration will open in early October and we'll be making developments and additions right up to the last minute. So for the latest news, just follow us on our website www.honeyshow.co.uk or follow us on social media. So I hope you'll join us for our first time virtual adventure into an online conference, and I hope to see you there.
Hi folks, I'm Tony Jefferson. I'm a past chairman of Yorkshire Beekeepers Association and currently the Yorkshire delegate to the BBKA. I come from the far north of the Yorkshire Patch, with my apiaries located around the North York Moors and the picturesque Whitby area. Heather honey being my passion. Seeing the background, I'm just returning the last of my hives from the heather for this year. 2020 has certainly been a strange and challenging year for us all, and I'm sure you'll agree it's a big shame there's no National Honey Show this year. But given the situation, it's quite understandable. I do hope you'll enjoy the virtual show, and I'd also like to offer a big thanks to those who have managed to pull this virtual show together. The three generations of Jeffersons have always remained very passionate about showing honey, be it at local, county or national levels, as well as myself progressing to a senior show judge to give back some of that experience. We've been involved with the National for a good many years. We're also fortunate to have our names on many of the various trophies, which has provided some really good, memorable occasions, especially contributing to Yorkshire gaining the County Shield on a number of occasions. I firmly hold a belief that exhibiting is a great way of showcasing our diverse craft. Attending and competing at the National has always been an enjoyable occasion and a great way of ending a busy year. Meeting old friends and always learning a little bit more about beekeeping. However, being an avid Middlesbrough football supporter, we're very used to the phrase, "Don't worry, there's always next year." Never has this been more appropriate. So please enjoy the virtual show, stay safe and see you all next year. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Joyce Nisbet. I live in North Wales and I'm a member of both North Shropshire and South Clwyd Beekeepers Associations. I'm also a BBK trustee and BBK honey judge. Unfortunately, we can't have a physical National Honey Show this year. However, for a flavour of the display classes at the show, this is a recreation of the Halloween-themed exhibit that I entered in Class 16 in 2019. This display won second prize last year. The deserved winner was the exhibit by my own North Shropshire Association, which I had also contributed to. My husband Tom and I have been keeping bees for just over 30 years. Soon after we started, we were encouraged to enter the bees and honey section of Shrewsbury Show. We were lucky to have bees collecting tasty honey, and after some successes at Shrewsbury, we tried entering the National Honey Show when it was held at Kensington Town Hall. However, our entries were limited by what one of us could carry to London on public transport. So usually 2 jars of medium liquid honey, maybe 2 jars of chunk honey and some small candles. Each year we return to London with our kids at the weekend to enjoy the show, collect our entries and to go to a West End musical. One year, however, our return trip luggage was augmented by a special prize of a box of show-grade honey jars. By the time we made it back to the crew by underground and train with 2 kids, our bags, entries and the box of jars, that extra prize didn't feel quite so special. We expanded our range of entries slightly once the show moved to Hendon, which we could reach by car, but by the early 2000s, family and work commitments meant a break from the National. However, I still managed to enter Shrewsbury Show annually, and showing there was the impetus to expanding my repertoire of honey and wax. Granulated honey, light honey, cut comb, 12 jars, sections, wax blocks, heather honey, and even some very poor mead.
Once I was able to produce a range of honey and wax products, I moved on to the shop window display class at Shrewsbury. That show also has a class for a traditional glass-mounted display of honey, wax and bee products. And the glass display is visible in the background here. Such exhibits were popular early in the 20th century. North Shropshire Beekeepers has a set of glass and supports and has entered an association exhibit in this class for many years. These were group efforts led by my friend Joe. In 2009, Joe challenged me to source a stand and enter a display in the class the following year. So, from 10 years ago, here am I with my first mini glass-mounted display. A few years later, these had grown and I had managed second places at national honey shows too. The display class at the National doesn't have to be a glass display, but Class 16 is currently the most appropriate class for these exhibits. In 2013, Jess, another NSBK member, and I had learned how to make beeswax roses at a workshop given by Liz Duffin at the BBK Spring Convention. I didn't make it beyond roses, but Jess mastered gladioli and poppies too. In 2015, this led to a huge team effort involving almost 20 North Shropshire members to create a wax flower themed association entry both at Shrewsbury Show and at the National. By 2016, we had learned from John Chandler of Yorkshire Beekeepers how to create beeswax fruit, and the association team created a display with grapes, wine and mead for Shrewsbury. The similar display, but with more beeswax fruit and vegetables, caused quite a commotion at the National that autumn. One popular question was how we had managed such realistic bloom on the wax grapes. The answer was that we had merely abandoned them in a cardboard box for the couple of months since Shrewsbury Show. What visitors didn't realise was that all the other fruit and vegetables had been created 3 days before the show, with the realistic ends being painted on the carrots at our association AGM the evening before staging. In 2017, North Shropshire were defeated by the logistics of designing, creating, packing and transporting a display the 200 miles from North Shropshire to the National. It really needs 2 members to stage each display and to dismantle it. Then there's the issue of whether to stay on in London or drive home. However, the absence of an NSBKA display did mean my own entry won
my one and only first in that class. For 2018, there was a long-standing North Shropshire plan, with group creation and the co-opting of a friend for staging. Once the display was at the National, it was difficult to believe that it had been touch and go whether it reached Sandown. Then in 2019, association members went rather overboard, creating all the items for a beeswax teddy bear's picnic. Cheese, sausages, baguettes, cakes, fruit, crisps, not to mention cucumber sandwiches, beeswax bunting, wax wraps and a beeswax kite. There was honey too, of course. A well-deserved first place followed. Although I will miss meeting so many beekeeping friends at Sandown this year, I'm looking forward to enjoying the online show. I hope you do too, and hope to see you in 2021.
Hi, I'm John Chappell and I'm a London beekeeper and past president of the National Honey Show. And through my hobby of keeping bees, I've travelled the world. I've been out as far as China, south to South America, round the Caribbean, all around the Middle East and most of Europe. And wherever I go, I've been fascinated with bees and the expertise that people have got. Language isn't a problem. If you talk about bees, you can talk to a beekeeper anywhere you like in the world. And I would like to invite you to the National Honey Show this year, which unfortunately is going to be a virtual show owing to the fact of this horrible little virus. But you can get all the information about the show on our National Honey Show website. On your screen, if you follow the National Honey Show directions, you'll also be able to see all the traders that normally attend the National Honey Show who will be putting their ware out for you all to see, plus all the bargains which I know the regulars would want to take up. This is going to be hopefully a one-off show, and I hope next year we'll be back to Sandown Park, where I'd love to see you all, and if you collar me nicely, I'll buy you all a nice cup of tea. Looking forward to seeing you next year. Bye!